Hello everyone, my name is Victoria Oluwaseun Obalano and I refer to myself as a Finance Technology Enthusiast. I am thrilled to share an insightful video for my IT235 Cloud Server Administration course. In this recording, I'll be answering three key questions that dive into virtual machine, server rules and features, and the power of Active Directory in business infrastructure. A big thank you to our instructor for this opportunity to explore and present this fun and foundational concepts. Let's get right into it. First question that I'll be answering is to describe the core component of a virtual machine and explain how I would leverage virtualization technology in a business setting. First and foremost, we need to understand what a virtual machine is. A virtual machine, commonly or otherwise known as a VM, is a software-based simulation of a physical computer system. It is one that enables multiple operating systems and applications to run simultaneously on a single physical host and allowing them to function independently. The core component of a virtual machine include one, the hypervisor, so the virtual hardware, three, the guest operating system, and four, the host machine. The hypervisor is the central software layer that enables virtualization. It manages and allocates hardware resources such as the CPU, memory, storage, and network connection to multiple virtual machines. The hypervisor has two types, the type 1 and the type 2. The type 1, otherwise known as the bare metal hypervisor, runs directly on the hardware, while the type 2 is the one that operates on top of the host operating system. Examples include the Hyper-V, Microsoft Hyper-V, and Oracle VirtualBox. Number 2 is the virtual hardware. The virtual hardware, just as it sounds or as it is called, virtual hardware, it is an hardware that is virtual. So it is each virtual machine contains virtualized components that replicates physical hardware devices. These include the virtual CPU, just as we have the CPU, we have the hard disks, we have the memory, we have the network interface. We also have them in the virtual world. So we have the virtual CPU, the virtual network interface, the virtual memory, the virtual disks. So the hypervisor emulates the components of, so that each virtual machine function as if it were an independent computer. The third is the guest operating system. As the word goes, guest. It's a guest. So just as a computer has its own operating system, in the virtual world is referred to as the guest operating system. The guest operating system is installed within the virtual machine. It can either be identical to or different from the host operating system. For instance, I can have a Windows host and run multiple Linux or run Mac OS virtual machines on it. Number 4 is the host machine. The host machine refers to the physical computer that provides the computing resources that is necessary for virtualization. Without the host machine, we cannot have virtualization. So we need the host machine so it can provide the computing resources that is necessary for us to have the virtualization. So it supplies the CPU cycles, the memory, storage, network connectivity that is shared among the VMs. Now, in the business setting, virtualization technology offers several significant advantages. One includes cost efficiency and resource optimization. Virtualization allows an organization to consolidate multiple physical servers into fewer, more powerful resources. Imagine having to buy 10 separate servers and consolidating all of it into one powerful machine. That would save the cost that you would have spent on 10 separate servers. You are just spending a few of that on one powerful machine that can do all that is needed. So it improves business continuity and disaster recovery. There are times that unforeseen circumstances could occur in the organization. For instance, there could be a system failure And when there's a system failure, you can lose documents, you can lose a lot of files. But if you have virtual machines can be stored as files, which make them easy to back up, to replicate, and even to restore when you have issue of system failure in the organization. This will really ensure data integrity and also minimize downtime, and that is vital for continuous business operation. The third is testing, training, and development, what I love to call TTD. Every organization looks for development of their team. And in the IT department, we want to create isolated space for IT members to be able to test new software, to be able to do system updates, to be able to do security patches without disrupting the live systems. So when we have virtual machines, we enable them to be able to learn, to practice without affecting the main system. They can do things to learn to improve the business without affecting the life system. Four is enhanced security and isolation. Now, because virtual machine operates independently of each other, a security breach in one environment does not affect, it doesn't automatically compromise the other. So the isolation strengthens organizational cyber security practices. Fifth, the last one I'll talk about is scalability and remote accessibility. This is it's virtualization enables business to expand operation, to add new users rapidly without having to invest in new physical hardware. It helps to support and promote hybrid workers or remote workers so that they can allow employees can have access to virtual desktop from various locations. You don't have to be in the same location as where the business is before you can have access to the desktop, have access to things that are needed, files that are needed for your work. The second question is, server roles and features are critical for defining a server's functionality. Describe the difference between a server role and a server feature. How do you determine which role and feature a server needs? Now, very quickly, a server role defines the primary function or purpose of a server within a network. That is what a server role is. It helps to tell, okay, this is the function, this is the purpose of a server within a network. It determines what service or tasks that server will perform for users and other systems. So for instance, a web server IIS role allows a server to host websites, while a file and storage service role manages shared files and storage. That is the function of a server role. Now, but a server feature, on the other hand, provides supporting functionality that enhances or complements a role. Features are optional components that extend or improve server capabilities, but do not define the server's core purpose. So example of server features include the Windows Server Backup, failover clustering, or BitLocker drive encryption. So when determining which role and feature a server needs, the decision majorly depends on the business requirement and network design. So for instance, a company that needs centralized user authentication and security would need to install the Active Directory domain service role, while a business hosting internal applications would assign the web server role. That's the IIS. So it majorly depends. The key to assessing the organization's objective. The key is to assess the organization's objective, the security policy, and scalability needs before installing. You cannot just go ahead and install anything. You have to understand what the organization's objective is. Installing only the necessary roles and features ensures optimal performance and reduces potential security vulnerability. The third question is, domain are a fundamental component of a company's infrastructure. Explain the primary purpose of Active Directory, and how it facilitates user and resource management within a domain. Give an example of a common task you can perform using Active Directory. Okay, the primary purpose of Active Directory AD is to provide a centralized and secure system for managing users, computers, and other resources within a Windows domain network. It acts as a directory service that stores information about network objects and allows administrators to manage permission and access efficiently. Active Directory facilitates users. Active Directory facilitates users and resource management through several key functions. One is centralized authentication and authorization. Two is group policy management. Three is organization units, that's the OS. So centralized authentication and authorization. Users log in using their domain credentials, and the AD verifies their identity. That's the Active Directory. Verifies their identity across network resources. For the group policy management, administrators can define security and configuration policies across multiple computers for a single console. And the third one, which is the organizational unit, the OU, allows logical grouping of users and devices for easier management and delegation of administrative tasks. A common task that can be performed using Active Directory is creating and managing user accounts. For example, an administrator can create new employee accounts, assign them to appropriate security groups, and then grant them access to shared folders or printer. So if you are not in a particular group, you cannot make use of the folders or printers that is assigned to a particular group. This centralized control ensures consistency, security, and efficiency within the organization's IT infrastructure. So in summary, virtualization, server roles, and features and Active Directory are fundamental elements of modern IT infrastructure. Understanding how to configure and integrate these technologies enables organizations to improve efficiency, to improve security, and also to improve scalability. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped clarify the core components of virtual machine, the difference between server roles and features, and the essential role Active Directory plays in managing users and resources. Thank you so much, and that would be all for my video. Bye.